I could not believe the vote ratio of Erdogan from the earthquake affected area. Mind-boggling. Yeah. Brother, I mean, why do you think people in West Virginia vote solidly red? It's the exact same thing. It's literally identical, dude. Do you believe the results to be legit? Yes. Turkish elections are not fair, but I guess technically quote-unquote free. A lot more free than you would expect them to be. In the sense that, like, the votes are real. There's some fuckery every now and then, but the votes are real. Everyone will tell you that. Whereas it's not fair at all in the sense that, you know, the opposition will go to jail or Erdogan will do a gigantic fucking news conference, like where he does like a town hall by himself on every fucking platform 2 nights before the election. Like, the media is overwhelmingly pro Erdogan. They have to be, but they also are pieces of shit too. So it's not exactly fair in that sense. Like, here, this is the state broadcaster, okay? TRT is the state broadcaster, TRT. In 1 month leading up to the election, Erdogan had 32 hours of coverage. Kılıçdaroğlu, who is the opposition leader, 32 minutes. Okay? Like, it's fucking ridiculous. They own everything. Do CHP not have money? Brother, it doesn't work that way. One aspect that's oftentimes not talked about in a country like Turkey is that Recep Tayyip Erdogan is more popular than American presidents are in America, okay? Like, that's something you got to remember. Like, this motherfucker, for all of his, like, horrifying nonsense and all of his fuckery in the media, has still been able to captivate 51% of the population consistently, whether it be a coalition that he builds with the Nationalist Party or not. Ultimately, he's been able to do this for like 2 decades, almost 3 decades now. And people don't understand it. Like, they think, people in America don't understand it. How much of it is anti-NATO stance? Yeah, that's a laughable fucking notion, okay? If you think Turkish people give a fuck about NATO, I don't know what to tell you. I've seen that coverage in America, okay? I saw that coverage in America where people are like, this is, you know, the opposition leader is going to be pro-NATO. The opposition leader is going to be more pro-NATO. It's like, bro, no one cares. Are you joking? I'm not particularly fond of the Social Democratic Coalition either, but it doesn't fucking matter. You just want someone who is going to be, like, at least marginally less corrupt, okay? That's the main goal for Turkish people that go out and vote. The ones that vote against Recep Tayyip Erdogan, they're voting for someone who is just marginally, just a little bit less corrupt, please. Like, please, just, we're paying these fucking taxes. Just, like, give us back something in return and don't fucking pocket it for your sons and your daughters and your fucking, you know, wife and your family immediately. No one gives a fuck about NATO, dude. What the fuck? No one's even thinking about fucking NATO. Yeah, someone in the chat said, Abi ne NATO'su ya? Ekmek 8 lira. Exactly. Bread is 8 lira. What fucking NATO are you talking about? You think motherfuckers care about NATO? They got no future, dog. Every aspect of their life is like riddled with, mini tyrants that are corrupt, leading all the way up to the fucking, major leagues. The worst thing that could have fucking happened, and I will never forgive America for this, was the coup d'etat that occurred in Turkey. Because this result probably would have been produced at least fucking, This result this time around, this election cycle would have been an actual dub. Because this current result that you saw where his this is the lowest he's ever had in popularity, not making it through the fucking first round of the election, going to a runoff. This result would have been the result last time around. But then the fucking coup happened, and when the coup happened, he solidified his support. So much so that he was able to put a referendum together and in 2018 change the fucking constitution of the country from a parliamentary structure to a fucking presidential one. Here's everything you need to know about how the electoral system works. So Turkey used to have a parliamentary system. They transitioned to a presidential system in July 2018, a month after Erdogan won the presidential election. How did they do that? Well, there was a martial law instituted in the immediate aftermath of the coup d'etat that had happened the year prior, and then there was a referendum vote held. Okay, the powers of the president were broadened after a 2017 referendum approving the change to an executive presidency. So just understand that. Originally, it was a parliamentary system, and the presidential, the role of the president was like non-existent. So how does the voting work in the Turkish elections? You first vote for the president, and then you secondly vote for the party. Citizens vote for a candidate, and for the president to become the president, the vote needs at least 50% of the presidential votes are needed to secure the position. Erdogan fell short of the 50%. That's why there's going to be a runoff. Okay? Less than 50% of votes in a runoff between the two top scoring candidates will be had as well. At least 50% of presidential votes are needed to secure the position, and then less than 50% of votes result in a runoff between the two top scoring candidates. So it's going to be a runoff on the 28th. Okay? A second round of elections between Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu, the leader of the opposition coalition, and Erdogan, who has his own little coalition as well. Okay? Now, everyone was incredibly confident and I would say more confident than I have seen people on the ground leading up to this election that Erdogan was not going to win, and that Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu was actually going to win with a 51% majority vote. Voting for Erdogan can also be described as working for a minimum wage, but act delighted when seeing a TOG, a brand new Turkish electric car, for the record. It is an EV. Forgetting the fact that you won't be able to buy even his tires, and it wouldn't do any effect to your economic situation rather than making you feel even poorer. There is a tremendous amount of welfare, but also on top of that, there is very uneven development, but also not great development in areas that are in desperate need of development, but ones that are basically aesthetic. The example I can show you is basically, for example, taking the fucking earthquake funds and like building roads that got eviscerated by the earthquake, right? Why did the German Turks always vote Erdogan? I don't understand it. I've told you this before. The reason why a lot of German Turks, and this is a major diaspora, so like it is actually significant. German Turks vote for AKP because they want to live like kings in Turkey with their euros. Exactly. They don't live in the shitty economy in Turkey, so they don't give a fuck. They don't care. They live in Germany. They only experience Turkey as tourists. And the euro is way stronger than the fucking Turkish lira. So when they come back to Turkey, they only see it as like a travel destination where their money is more powerful. That is wrong. Else all diaspora would vote for AKP. UK and USA voted anti-Erdogan. Yes, there's also a difference. There's a major difference there that the German diaspora, and I just already talked about it, is significantly more powerful and has a sense of community, okay? And that community revolves around like how they get shit on by Germans, the white Germans at least, okay? So in that, where they feel like they've been ousted from like normal German public life because of all the anti-Muslim sentiment expressed towards Turks, the German form of racism that gets that gets thrown around a lot against Turkish people there. Their sense of community revolves around being like that chastising forms a stronger bond with like being whatever, like, pro Tayyip Turk, because they see Tayyip as like shitting on the German government. When you get pushed away from the rest of public life, you end up holding on to your community. And if your community is built around like being very right-wing and Muslim, right? Then that's what's going to happen. I mean, the Erdogan regime has become such a massive fucking demon with its tentacles in every part of Turkish existence. It's very hard to like describe. It's like it's resembling almost like a one-party structure. It's not entirely it's not like China where it's just the Chinese Communist Party or anything. But It is still a one-party structure. You know what I mean? Almost. It's like run by a cult.
Turkey,
let's watch the American. Now that I gave you a little bit of what's going on in Turkey, let's watch the American analysis on the situation.
Have a big impact on the U.S. and its NATO allies. Voters went to the polls yesterday after a natural disaster and an economic collapse put the country's longtime leader under heavy pressure. President Erdogan is claiming success this morning, but he's expected to face a runoff election later this month. Remy Inocencio has more on the future of this important U.S. partner.
Every fucking American outlet that I've seen on this literally has talked about NATO, which is so funny. Or like how close Erdogan is to Russia and how Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu is going to be more pro-NATO and more anti-Russia. It's like, dog, no one cares. In Turkey, like, it is so laughable to think that that is the reason why they're voting for one person over the other. It is hilarious, okay? It is fucking hilarious. NATO'yu sikime taşağıma sürdüm. Amerikalılar gelip alsın. It's like, it's so fucking laughable, dude. It's so insanely stupid. Like, motherfuckers want to buy bread, dog. They don't give a fuck about NATO. So dumb. They give a fuck about the top of the hour ad break and how expensive it's become. People are fucking committing suicide because of this election. And motherfuckers in America are like, yeah, it's the NATO. Yeah, dude, they're killing themselves because they're not because Recep Tayyip Erdogan is not pro-NATO enough. You know what I mean? Like, that's why, yeah. It's fucking such a ridiculous take.
Critics say Erdogan has amassed too much power as president, diluted democracy, and derailed secularism on which the country was founded. Supporters say he has brought Islam back. Both men have agreed to a runoff, if needed, held in 2 weeks. For Washington and much of Western Europe, an open secret. The end of Erdogan would be their new Turkish delight. For CBS Mornings, Remy
Tom, Tony, Johnny, Herkel, Frank, alayı birden Türkiye'de Recep Tayyip Erdoğan'ı sikmeye kalksalar başaramazlar.
What? Hayır. Ne? 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 Oh, he literally said if all of these people got together and tried to fuck Recep Tayyip Erdogan, they would not be able to. It's silkmeye, not to fuck. Yapmayın abi. Ne? Sikme... Ne? Wait, I gotta run it again.
Sikmeye kalksalar, Recep Tayyip Erdoğan'ı sikmeye kalksalar başaramazlar.
What the fuck? Yo. Okay, this is a little too much. This is like, okay. He just straight up is saying like, silkmek abi silkelemek. Okay, I get that. It's funny because the word between like fuck and also like I guess dethrone is like very similar. But he just straight up says
Türkiye'de Recep Tayyip Erdoğan'ı sikmeye kalksalar
Haskoloğlu asks, a lot of people in Turkey think that America is like paying a lot of attention to the Turkish elections. Is this true? No. Nobody in America gives an absolute shred of a single fuck about the Turkish elections. Even the liberals are trying to generate some level of like interest about the Turkish elections. Okay? By talking about how much the Turkish elections mean to NATO. He'll say shit.
Any comment on the Turkish elections? It looks like there might be a dispute over President Erdogan's.
Oh, is that right? I didn't get any
The
results.
opposition party are claiming they are leading, and state media are...
Exactly. There you go. That's the level of seriousness that America has taken the elections. Oh man, he's like, what? What? I didn't hear about it, Jack. I don't know. What's Turkey? Is it Thanksgiving time?
Erdogan is leading.
Sounds familiar, doesn't it? No, look, I just hope it goes, whoever wins, wins. I mean, there's enough problems in that part.
Bro. They're farting at the Turks, dude. There you go. He doesn't give a fuck, dude. What do you mean? He'll come out and he'll say some shit like, "Oh, Erdogan is bad, blah blah blah," and then the Turks will make a bigger deal out of it. But like, that's the level of attention. It's not what is it like? Not even making it to a security briefing that morning. That's crazy.
Amerika'dan aldığın talimatla mı yapacaksın? Biden'dan aldığın talimatla mı yapacaksın? Biden Erdoğan'ı düşürmemiz lazım diye talimatı verdi. Bunu ben biliyorum. Bunu benim bütün halkım biliyor.
Ya siktir lan. Ya bırak Allah aşkına. Yapmayın abi, böyle bir şey yok yani. Amerika'nın sikinde bile değil. Erdoğan yine bayraktarları sallıyor Ukrayna'ya. Sikinde bile değil Amerika'nın, o yüzden yani. Yapmayın etmeyin abi. There is a video. Like, I'm sure America would prefer Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu for stability. Okay, that much is true. But like, it don't matter. It's not that big of a point of contention that Erdogan continues to run the country from the perspective of the American security apparatus. You know what I mean? They don't give a fuck.
Şimdi yarın sandıklar demek ki Biden'a da bir cevap verecek. Onun için durmak yok. Yarına kadar bu gece Türkiye yüzyılını yine Ümraniye ile birlikte inşa edeceğiz.
He said the voting results are going to be answering Biden as well. I mean, this is bu masadayız biz lafı. Turks want to be prominent in the national sphere of influence really bad, and this makes them feel like they have a say or something. You know what I mean? So that's why he's like hyping that narrative.